All right, here's some questions that deal with polynomials. We'll just, what a polynomial is, some characteristics, then we'll do some operations with them. So the first says identify the degree of each term of the polynomial and the degree of the polynomial in general. So here are the two terms of this polynomial. The first one, I'm looking at exponents of x. So there's no exponent there, but I assume it to be a 1. So the degree of the first term would be a 1. This next one doesn't have an x in it, so I would say the degree of the second term would be 0. Another way you can think of that is you could put an x there as long as you have the 0 as an exponent, because x to the 0 would just be 1, so it wouldn't be changing anything. At any rate, the degree of that term is 0. And then the degree of the polynomial is always whatever the highest degree of the terms are. And this one is 1, so the degree of that polynomial is 1. The next question says the degree of the first term. They want to know the degree of each term. So the first one is a 5, second one's a 1, third one's an 8, next one's a 7. This is actually written in not the right order. It should be written like this: x to the 8th minus 9x to the 7th plus x to the 5th minus 6x. That's how they really should have written the polynomial in descending order. All right, but for this question, they are just wanting you to do it in order. The degree of the entire polynomial is the highest one, and that would be the first one if it's written in descending order. So the degree of that polynomial is 8. Okay, next question says classify the polynomial monomial, binomial, trinomial. So that's how many terms there are. In this one, there's two factors, 70 and x, but there's no adding or subtracting. So altogether, that's just one term. So I would call that one a monomial. Okay, this question is asking us to subtract the polynomials. If they have the subtraction in front of a bracket, that subtraction, this one right there, has to apply to each term in the second bracket. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2r minus 3, and then minus a negative will be plus 5r, and minus a positive will be minus 15. So in collecting like terms, 2r plus 5r would be 7r, and minus 3 minus 15 would be minus 18. Okay, question number 5. Perform the indicated operations. Looks like we're just adding. So for adding, we can just look for like terms right off the bat. So here's some x's. That's all of them. 4 and 7 is 11. Minus 3 would be 8x. And then let's do y's. So 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 1 would be 4y. Let's do z's. So z minus 3z. So z minus z is 0z, minus 3 would be a negative 3z. And then finally numbers, minus 6 plus 7 minus 3. Minus 6 plus 7 is 1, 1 take away 3 would be negative 2. Okay, so that would be the simplification of that one. Ooh, more subtracting of polynomials. Right on, let's rewrite it. So 7b squared plus 11bg minus 2g squared. Okay, this has to apply to everybody. Minus 9b squared plus 9bg minus 19g squared. Okay, collecting like terms, the b squared would give me negative 2b squared. The bg's would be plus 20 bg's. And minus 2 and minus that would be minus 21g squared. Okay, for these last questions, we'll do multiplication. There's a thunderstorm outside, so if you hear some rumbling, it's thunder. So when we're multiplying a binomial by a binomial, we use the distributive property twice. So I'm going to take this x here, and I'm going to multiply it by this x and by the negative 2. Then I'll take the 4 and times it by the x and by the negative 2. Now, in the book or other places, they sometimes put extra steps in, but I find that sometimes confuses me. So let me do the red one. X times x is x squared. X times a negative 2 is a negative 2x. Then I'll do the blue. 4 times x would be a positive 4x. And 4 times a negative 2 is a negative 8. Okay, so now I look for like terms if there are any. Sure enough, there's some right there. So my final answer will be x squared. Minus 2 plus 4 would be a positive 2x minus 8. That'd be my answer for that one. For the next one, same kind of thing. So it'd be 3y squared plus 6y minus 2y minus 4. Again, collecting like terms, the middle two I can collect. 6 take away 2 would be a positive 4y minus 4. The next one is x plus 4 all squared. This one you can't just sort of square both things inside. You can't do that. Let me erase that. So what I always do with these, and there are rules that you can use to figure out what that is going to be. But if it's x plus 4 squared, it just means I have two x plus 4s. And then I do the same as I've done up above there. So it'd be x squared plus 4x plus another 4x plus 16. Collecting like terms in the end will give me x squared plus 8x plus 16. Now, as I'm doing this, and in the video for this section on operation with polynomials, I mentioned that you should look for a sign first. So first think plus or minus, and then look for a number, and then look for the letters, what to do with the variables. So make sure you do that. And the sign one is the one that most people mess up on. So just be careful with that. Okay, the last one is a difference of two squares. So this one times this one, but I do it the same way as I normally do. 2s times 4s would be, or times 2s is 4s squared. 2s times minus 4 would be a minus 8s. And then 4 times 2s would be a positive 8s. And 4 times minus 4 would be a minus 16. Minus 8 plus 8s, those both cancel. So my answer would be 4s squared minus 16. All right, hopefully that helps you out with the homework for that section.